What's up, guys? It's Brenda and Brittany. Today, we want to talk a little bit about our journey to becoming parents from the very start to where we are today. So, how this all got started was we was coming home from Memphis and we happened to pull over at a church parking lot. And we made us a baby, all right? So, that was probably the third week of October, second week of October. It was right before Halloween sometime. And then, what did we find out? The first week of November, the second week of November, that we was pregnant. We took a pregnancy test, and it was on a Sunday, I remember.
I think it was like November 10th or 11th.
And the very first test came back positive. And I remember I locked myself in the bathroom and cried because I was so fucking stressed out because I'm like, how the fuck are we going to raise a baby? And I was like, oh wow. I was just stressed. I was just scared. Like, I had thought I wanted a kid before, but I didn't really know that. I was also like, I hate kids. I don't want a kid. But as soon as she said, it's positive, I locked myself in the bathroom and cried. It was a Saturday because we was watching the Alabama game that night, remember?
No, it was a Sunday because the next day we went to orientation at work.
You gotta talk louder. But, yeah, so I found out that day, and I locked myself in the bathroom and cried. And she texted me very, very angry and said, this is not how I wish you would handle this. This is not very supportive. I'm like, you just gotta give me some time. This is big shit. So I was really, really stressed. She was super happy. It took me about 2 months to get on board with like being happy about this. No, actually 2 months. No, it was like February. It was like it was like 4 months maybe. Once we started going to the doctor, January, second week of January, we got ultrasound. That we found out the gender and everything. Found out we was having a girl. That's what I wanted the whole time. So I was good from there. January. What was we like? 4 months pregnant then? 3 months pregnant. So
About 3 months.
after we found out we was pregnant, like I said, it took from when we found out we was pregnant in November to the week of Christmas for us to get our first doctor's appointment. And the only thing they did was give her a piss test and ask her a bunch of questions. I don't know. I don't even know why it took so long. What took so long to get an appointment?
She was booked up.
Booked up? Oh, okay. So we get our ultrasound a couple of weeks later. Find out it's a girl. Still haven't told anybody. I told a couple of
No,
my
I told my mom and my sister.
I told a couple of my friends, I'm like, yo, I'm stressing the fuck out when I found out we was pregnant. And they're like, yo, you just calm down. You go ahead to deal with it. But anyway, we tell my family. And what are you fucking with me for?
She did the table.
Okay. But anyway, we tell. That was you.
It was that time.
Alright. Well, don't fucking touch this shit.
You don't touch.
Alright. So we tell my family, and then they have this a big gender reveal party because they didn't know what it was, and we told them. We said, "Yeah, we don't know." I was like, "I have no idea." I sent the paper to my brother of a picture. I was like, "I don't know what it is." We was pretending we didn't know. We couldn't wait.
We made T-shirts and everything.
Hell yeah, we had our name on it, everything already. We knew what we was having.
Yeah, we had names picked out for a girl and boy, and we had shirts made for what we thought it was, and we already had shirts made that had her name on it already.
If it was a boy, we was gonna go with Bryson Hakeem. And if it was a girl, of course, Brooklyn Aisha. But what was some other names that was in there? What were some of the other names we thought of? I'm sure I thought of some crazy ass shit. I'll probably try to name our son after every single rapper I like. Fredo, Kodak, all that. But where we at? We're a gender reveal. So we have this gender reveal just fronting like we don't know shit. And we cut the cake, and
It was
I already know.
so awkward because we already knew. And
You gotta talk to the
everybody
camera,
else
not to
didn't
me.
know.
But yeah, everybody else didn't know. And so we cut the cake, and we just gotta pretend to be excited pretty much, just find out. We've known for like 2 or 3 days at this point. So once we get a little farther into the whole thing, around February, we go and take a test called a quad screen. A quad screen tests for Down syndrome and what is it called? Trisomy 1, trisomy 21, something. It's a birth defect that causes like muscle and bone like deformities, and it's very deadly. Babies don't live past 1 year when they have this disease. So we go and take a quad screen. We get a call back about 2 weeks later that says your baby tested abnormally on the quad screen. So that was really, really scary. I remember getting up and we wanted to eat some Mexican food that day. And I just sat there and cried the whole time, stressed out. And then after that, we went to see this doctor who specializes in like babies with difficulties during their pregnancy, whether it's Down syndrome or if it's like multiple babies, like triplets and up. So we went and seen him, and we had to have another ultrasound, a very in-depth ultrasound. And then after that, we took another screening test that ended up coming back negative. No Down syndrome. The hormone levels for Down syndrome were totally normal. But our other option, I don't even remember what it was called for real. But it was a thing where they'd take a needle and go in and withdraw some of the amniotic fluid, and they would be able to actually 100% for sure know if a baby had Down syndrome.
It's on the tip of my tongue.
We did not want to do that because it had not a very high risk, but it was still a risk of causing the pregnancy to be terminated. So we decided we'll just go with not the quad screen, the second screening. It was similar to the quad screen, except it was a lot more in depth.
They took my blood.
You gotta talk louder. But anyway, after taking that, we found out for sure if our baby was not gonna have Down syndrome. This was in May. Our due date was July 14th. So right around, I'm going to say June 25th, June 20th, Brittany's blood pressure started getting very, very high. And so we found out that she had preeclampsia one day while we was at the doctor. And we went home like it was normal. Then, like 5 minutes later, the doctor calls us and said, hey, your blood pressure is way too high. It's going to be dangerous for the baby. We need y'all to go on in to the hospital. What?
When we left there, we left the clinic. We left the clinic and we was gonna go to the hospital because she wanted us to go to the hospital and get tested for preeclampsia. But then she ended up calling us back and saying that she was gonna go ahead and induce us that day. So we ended up going to the hospital at 9 p.m. that night and getting admitted, and then
They induced her labor probably 7 the next morning. So this is July 3rd. They induced the labor. We came in at about 11 o'clock at night on July 2nd. So July 3rd, we come in. Labor's induced. She wasn't was she wasn't dilating very fast at all. It was taking forever. So probably about 3 4 hours later, they gave her what do they even call that thing where they stick in your spine? I totally remember
Epidural.
most times. Yeah, epidural. They gave her an epidural, and after that, we waited till probably 8 o'clock that night, and they decided, okay,
No, she broke my water at probably about 6 o'clock, and then the next time she came in and checked me, I was dilated at 6 centimeters. But then about 8:30ish maybe, or somewhere around 8 o'clock.
don't want to look at the camera and talk into the camera.
Somewhere around 8 o'clock, she decided to go ahead and give me a C-section, which he was nowhere to be found. He went home, and I told him I didn't want him to go home because I figured something was going to end up happening. But she decided to go on and give me a C-section because Brooklyn's heart rate was dropping and my blood pressure was
Going up.
going up. Yeah. And I called him. He was already out of town, back at the house.
I was
And
at
he,
home doing some things. By things, I mean beating my dick. Right when I got my call, I was in the middle of it. Didn't finish or anything.
So you lied to me. No, you lied to me.
All right. So after that, I come to the hospital. You know, we're just doing our thing. I get there about 20 minutes later. They say we gotta go do a C-section.
Everyone was waiting on him. Like, they stopped. I was like the next
That's
person
waiting
in
on
line.
me?
Like, they pushed me ahead of other people, and we were sitting there waiting on him.
So my whole hospital was backed up all because I was at home doing my thing.
Yeah. But yeah.
So we go in. We have a C-section about 10:52. I think was the exact time the baby was born.
10:54.
So they brought the baby up. Brittany was still, you know, like
Did you say
sedated.
10:54?
10:52.
No, it was actually 9:50.
Okay, they don't. Okay, so anyway, we brought the baby up, and it was chilling in the nursery. So I went and I chilled with her for a little bit. Like, she got to meet some people. Like, people got to come up and see her. But Brittany was still knocked out. She was still sedated. So she went to recovery. And she was in recovery for hours, man. She didn't come out of recovery till 3 in the morning. So,
Because when they took me back to have my C-section, my blood pressure was so high they gave me a medicine to decrease it, and then it got way too low, so they gave me more medicine, and by the time they got the baby out, my blood pressure was way too high, so I had to be in recovery for I don't know how long. I don't know. I was drugged up. I have no idea.
so we get her finally in the room. She starts to wake up a little bit. The baby is still up in the nursery. That's what it is. The baby's still up in the nursery, and she comes in and she starts spazzing on me, talking about everybody got to see my baby but me. She was so upset. She was just crying hysterically. I'm like, man, I'm so damn tired. I've been up for 24 hours straight. I'm not trying to deal with this right now. And she was going off. It's like, bro, the baby will calm down eventually when the baby is
I
ready.
wasn't going off. I was just real sad and heartbroken that everybody else got to see her
She was angry.
before I got to see her.
So finally, 5 in the morning probably, they brought the baby down, and she got to see her finally. And so the baby was born on Tuesday, right?
The third, yeah.
Yeah. We didn't get out of a hospital till Saturday night. Saturday. We was in there so long. We came in Monday. and we stayed till Saturday. I was about to go insane. We had a little roll around stool like doctors be having. I was pushing myself back and forth the whole time on it. Just nothing else to do. I have a problem. I get up and just walk in circles when I get bored. I did that the whole time. It killed me, man. So Saturday, we get out, we come home, and we get to the apartment, and we just chilled. I don't think we actually took our baby out and did anything. Like, we didn't go anywhere. Like, we didn't leave the house except when I'd go to work for like probably the first 3 weeks, did we?
We went and stayed with your parents for one day, I think. Didn't we?
I don't know. I don't remember that if it happened. So that is the story of the start of our pregnancy to the very finish. You got to know every detail. Too many details, probably.
Yeah. Way too many.
Way too many. Here's a problem. As you see, I had to nudge Brittany and get her to talk actually into the camera. Brittany makes me so mad because she never talks loud enough for anyone to understand what she says in real life. We get in so many fights every week, almost every day, because I'll say something directly to her and she won't respond. I'll look at her and be like, what the fuck, man? I asked you a direct question, and she'll be like, I said something, you just didn't hear me. That's like, how about you speak a little louder if you know how to hear you? It's like,
Is always that low?
What?
That low.
Yeah. But no, she talks so quiet. And it's like, bruh, we get in fights all the time because you just don't want to talk loud enough where I can hear you. What's the point of saying something if you know I can't hear? I've had hearing problems my whole life. I've been going to the doctor for like hearing trouble since I was like 4 years old. So you speaking quietly to me is 1,000 times worse than you speaking quietly to anyone else.
But you be
Most
yelling.
people think
You be yelling a
most people
lot.
think I'm a total asshole when they talk to me. I am. Don't get me wrong. But people wrongfully think I am sometimes because people come up and talk to me about, hey, I like your tattoos, man. Or you got a nice car or something like that. And I'll just look at them and look away and not
I'll
say
be
anything.
like, hello?
Yeah, and she'll begin at me about it. I was like, I really did not hear what those people said at all. Like, somebody could come up and say something directly to me and me not hear anything. Unless I'm looking you dead in the eye, waiting for you to say it, I'm not going to understand it. And I might not even hear it. My hearing gets terrible. Well, that's enough.